Peace be with you, beloved soul. You are welcome here, in this quiet space of rest, reflection, and renewal. I am grateful that you have chosen to pause and listen, for the words you are about to hear are not mine alone, but carried by the Spirit, who longs to comfort you and guide you deeper into truth. If these words bring you peace, if they open something gentle within you, I invite you to share them. Leave a comment below so that your testimony can be a light for another. Subscribe to this channel so you may continue walking with me in these sacred conversations. And if someone you know is carrying a heavy burden, pass this message along, that they too may find rest for their weary heart. Now let us begin. Listen closely, beloved. Obedience to God is not a cage. It is not a chain. It is not the stripping away of your freedom. It is the doorway to freedom itself. When you choose obedience, you are not losing your will. You are finding the true will you were created for. The one who formed you in secret knows what your soul longs for, more deeply than you could ever know yourself. And obedience is the key that unlocks what your heart has been searching for all along. Stay with me now, because what comes next may change how you see obedience forever. I will show you how surrender is not weakness but strength, how yielding to God's ways opens treasures you cannot yet see. And in the quiet unfolding of this message, we will walk together through Scripture and through your own life, and you will see how obedience leads not into emptiness, but into abundance. But first, let me whisper a question into your spirit. What if the very peace you have been longing for is waiting on the other side of your yes to God? Pause here. Let that question settle into your chest like a stone falling into still water. Watch the ripples move outward. Feel them. Breathe them in. Now come with me. Let us walk slowly through this truth. When Abraham was called, he was told to leave everything familiar. Family, land, safety, the known patterns of his days. He was asked to walk toward a promise he could not see. And it was obedience, not sight, that carried him forward. Had he remained in his homeland, clinging to comfort, there would have been no nation, no covenant, no blessing poured out to generations. But because he obeyed, God opened the gates of destiny. Through his yes, the world received inheritance. So I ask you, what blessing waits on the other side of your obedience? What unseen harvest might grow from the seed of your surrender today? Obedience is not about blind rule-keeping. It is about trust. It is about leaning your full weight upon the voice of the one who cannot fail. Do you remember how Peter, weary from fishing all night, told Jesus, "Master, we have worked hard and caught nothing"? His nets were empty, his arms tired, his hope thin. Yet when Jesus said, "Cast your net again," Peter obeyed. And in that moment of surrender, the emptiness broke open into abundance, the net straining with more fish than he could hold. This is the rhythm of obedience. You lay down your certainty. You lay down your exhaustion. You trust even when it makes no sense. And God turns your emptiness into overflowing. So, beloved, I say to you, obedience is the womb of miracles. It is the secret place where God brings life out of barrenness. And perhaps even now in your life, there is an area that feels empty, an area that feels like a net lowered into dark water, only to return again and again with nothing. But hear me. If God has spoken, if his whisper calls you to act, then your yes will open what your striving could never achieve. This is what obedience unlocks. It unlocks peace, because you no longer carry the burden of your own wisdom. It unlocks provision, because your steps align with divine timing. It unlocks purpose, because your path joins the greater story written before the foundation of the world. But there is more, so much more. Stay close. Do not drift, because what I am about to share may bring tears to your eyes, not of sorrow, but of recognition. Obedience unlocks intimacy. When you obey, you are not simply following orders. You are drawing near to the very heartbeat of God. For Jesus said, "Whoever has my commands and keeps them, he is the one who loves me. And my Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our home with him." Do you hear the tenderness in that? Obedience invites God to dwell with you, not far away, not as a distant judge, but as a father and a friend who rests in the chambers of your heart. This is no small thing. It is the difference between religion and relationship, between knowing about God and knowing God. Beloved soul, perhaps you have tried to live by your own wisdom, only to find yourself weary and restless. Perhaps you have prayed for peace but felt it slipping through your fingers. I tell you gently, with love. Peace comes when your will bows low, and His will is lifted high. Peace comes when obedience opens the door. And so I will ask you once more, what waits for you on the other side of your yes? Maybe it is forgiveness you never thought you could receive. Maybe it is healing in places you have long carried wounds. Maybe it is courage to step into the work you were created for. Or maybe it is simply the stillness of resting in the presence of your Maker, no longer running, no longer resisting, but finally at home. Now let me show you something even deeper, if you are willing to stay. Obedience is not just about what you unlock. It is about who you become. Every act of obedience shapes you, molds you, chisels you into the likeness of Christ. Each yes, no matter how small, is like a brushstroke upon the canvas of your soul, until slowly the image of Jesus begins to appear more clearly in you. This is why obedience is beautiful. Not because it earns you love, you are already loved. Not because it makes you worthy, you are already chosen. But because obedience is how you become whole. Think of Jesus in Gethsemane. The night was heavy with sorrow. The cup before him was filled with suffering beyond measure. And yet he whispered, "Not my will, but yours be done." That yes, the deepest yes ever spoken, opened the gates of salvation for all of us. Through one act of perfect obedience, eternity shifted. And so I tell you gently, when you obey, you are stepping into that same river. You are joining your voice with His. Your yes, small as it may seem, echoes His yes in the garden, and the ripple of it moves further than you can see. Stay with me, for we are only beginning. In the next moments, I will take you deeper still, into the quiet mystery of how obedience draws you into alignment with heaven itself. And you will see, clearly, simply beautifully, that obedience is not a burden but the path to your truest freedom. You see, beloved, obedience is not simply about action, it is about alignment. When you obey, you step into rhythm with heaven. It is like a dancer finding the exact movement of the music, no longer stumbling, no longer rushing ahead or lagging behind, but flowing gracefully in time with the song. The Spirit leads and your soul follows. And in that union there is beauty. The psalmist wrote, "Teach me to do your will, for you are my God. Let your good spirit lead me on level ground." Do you hear the gentleness in those words? Level ground. No stumbling, no confusion, no chaos. Just steady steps in the path of peace. When you live outside obedience, life feels uneven. It feels like walking uphill with stones in your shoes, struggling to find balance, always tripping over your own desires. But when you walk in obedience, the ground beneath you steadies. The way becomes clear even when it is narrow, and your heart rests because you are no longer resisting the one who knows the way. Let me give you another picture. Imagine a river. Its current flows strong and steady, cutting a path through valleys and hills, moving toward the great sea. Now imagine stepping into that river, but turning to swim against the flow. How exhausting it is. Every stroke feels like a battle. The harder you try, the less ground you seem to cover. That is what it feels like when we resist obedience. We are swimming against the current of God's wisdom, exhausting ourselves in battles we were never meant to fight. But now imagine turning, surrendering, letting the current carry you. Suddenly your strength is no longer wasted. You are moved forward, not by your own striving, but by the river itself. This is the life of obedience. It does not erase effort, but it redeems it. It turns your movement into flow. This is what obedience locks. The joy of no longer fighting against God, but moving with Him. The relief of resting in His current. The quiet strength of being carried. Beloved, Let me tell you a truth that may surprise you. Obedience often feels small in the moment. Simple choice. A quiet yes, a step no one else sees. But what is small in your eyes is not small in heaven. For every yes in the Spirit carries eternal weight. When Noah obeyed and built the ark, the world saw only a man with wood and tools, laboring under the sun. But in heaven's eyes, it was the act that preserved life, the obedience that carried creation through the flood. When Mary obeyed, her yes was spoken in the privacy of a conversation with an angel. No trumpet sounded, no crown was placed upon her head, and yet her obedience became the doorway through which salvation entered the world. So do not despise the small obediences. Do not think them insignificant. Heaven records them. Heaven magnifies them. Heaven multiplies them. And I ask you again, as I have before, what is waiting on the other side of your yes? Perhaps your obedience today will unlock peace in your family tomorrow. Perhaps your yes will ripple out to generations you will never meet. Perhaps your surrender will open doors of healing for someone you will never even know. This is the mystery of obedience. It is never just about you. It is about the story God is weaving, one thread at a time. And when you obey, your thread is woven into a tapestry greater than you could imagine. But maybe right now you are asking, quietly in your heart, what if I have failed? What if I have resisted too long? What if I have disobeyed too many times, wandered too far, missed too many chances? Beloved, listen with both ears and let this truth sink deep. There is no failure so final that it cannot be redeemed by one yes to God. The thief on the cross at the edge of death whispered his faith to Jesus, and in that moment of surrender, paradise opened to him. It is never too late. It is never too lost. One yes can change everything. So do not look back with despair. Do not count the wasted years with shame. Instead, look to this moment, this breath, this heartbeat. For here, right now, your yes still matters. And when you say it, you will discover again what obedience unlocks. It unlocks forgiveness. It unlocks restoration. It unlocks the joy of beginning again. Let us go deeper still. For obedience not only unlocks blessing, intimacy, and transformation, it also unlocks clarity. Have you ever longed to know the will of God? Have you ever begged for direction, prayed for guidance, searched the sky for an answer? Jesus gave us a key when he said, "If anyone chooses to do God's will, they will know whether my teaching comes from God." Did you hear it? The knowing follows the choosing. Clarity follows obedience. We often want the full map before we take the first step. But God asks for the step first, and only then reveals the next. It is like walking with a lantern in the dark. The light does not stretch for miles, it shows only the ground just ahead. But as you keep walking, the path continues to appear. So if you are waiting for clarity, begin with obedience. Say yes to what you already know is right. Say yes to the whisper you have been resisting. Say yes to the small step. And in that yes, the next step will be revealed. This is what obedience unlocks. The unfolding of God's will, one step at a time, until the path before you glows with His light. And I wonder now, quietly, gently, what is the step that God has placed before you today? Perhaps it is forgiveness, perhaps it is generosity, perhaps it is letting go of fear and trusting Him with something you have clung to tightly. Whatever it is, remember, the path will not open until your feet begin to move. Beloved soul, you are being invited into something sacred. Not a heavy burden, not a crushing weight, but a partnership with the one who formed you. A rhythm of trust and release, a song of yes and amen. And if you listen closely, you may hear it even now. The gentle voice of the shepherd calling your name, not demanding, not forcing, but inviting you into the freedom of obedience. Stay with me. Do not turn away yet, for we are drawing near to a deeper truth, one that may lift your heart and quiet your fears, for obedience also unlocks courage. Yes, courage, because when you walk in obedience, you are not walking alone. The God who called you goes before you. The one who sent you stands behind you, and the Spirit who dwells within you strengthens every step. Think of Joshua, trembling before the task of leading Israel into the promised land. He heard the words again and again, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." And what gave him courage? It was not his own strength. It was not his own strategy. It was the presence of God made real through his obedience. So too for you, beloved. When you obey, you step into a place where courage is given, not earned. You find yourself braver than you thought possible, because you are upheld by a presence greater than fear. This is what obedience unlocks: the strength to stand when you feel weak, the voice to speak when silence feels safer, the peace to walk into unknown places because you know who walks with you. And so I say to you, with all tenderness, do not be afraid of obedience. Do not fear what it will cost, for whatever you lay down, God will replace with something greater. Whatever you release, he will transform into something eternal. And whatever path obedience leads you to, it will always lead you closer to his heart. Beloved soul, welcome back. We have journeyed far together already, resting in the truth that obedience is not chains, but freedom, not loss, but gain, not emptiness, but fullness. And yet, there is still more to see. For obedience does not only shape your life here, it prepares you for the life to come. Listen with your whole heart now. Every act of obedience plants a seed in eternity. Every yes you whisper, every surrender you make, every step you take in faith becomes a treasure stored where no moth can destroy, no thief can steal, no shadow can dim. Jesus himself said, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where rust and decay consume, but store up treasures in heaven." And how are these treasures stored? Not by clinging, but by releasing. Not by taking, but by obeying. This is what obedience unlocks: an inheritance beyond time, a reward beyond measure, a joy that no suffering can erase. But I will not pretend, beloved, that obedience is always easy. Let us speak gently but truthfully. There are moments when obedience feels like loss. Moments when saying yes to God means saying no to something you love. Moments when the path of surrender cuts against the grain of desire. Perhaps you know this already. Perhaps you have felt the sting of letting go, the ache of walking away from something familiar. If you have, hear me. God sees, God knows, and God does not take lightly the tears you shed in obedience. For even Jesus wept in his surrender. He felt the weight of the cup he was asked to drink. And yet his obedience was not in vain, nor will yours be. When you choose obedience in the dark, when you whisper yes through trembling lips, when you surrender though your heart breaks, heaven leans in. Angels bear witness. The Father records your faith. And though the world may not see, eternity does. This is why Paul could write, "Our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." Obedience may cost much now, but it yields a glory beyond comparison. So do not despise the tears of obedience. They are holy, they are seen, they are not wasted, and perhaps right now, someone listening is standing at the edge of a choice. You know what God is asking. You feel the tug, the gentle pull, but you are afraid of the cost, afraid of the unknown, afraid of what obedience might take from you. To you I speak gently but firmly. Do not be afraid. What God asks you to release, he will restore in ways you cannot yet imagine. What he removes, he replaces with what is truer, purer, everlasting. And though obedience may feel like death, it always leads to resurrection. Look at the seed. It falls into the ground, buried in darkness, broken open by pressure. It seems to die, and yet, in time, new life bursts forth, greater than the seed could have dreamed. This is the mystery of obedience. What you bury in surrender, God raises in glory. This is what obedience unlocks, the power of resurrection in your own life. Beloved, let me whisper something deeper now. Obedience does not only transform you, It transforms the world around you. Think of Moses. One yes at the burning bush set in motion the deliverance of a nation. Think of Esther. One yes in the king's court saved her people from destruction. Think of Paul. One yes on the road to Damascus birthed churches across the world. Never believe the lie that your obedience affects only you. When you obey, you open doors for others. When you say yes, chains break not only from your life, but from lives connected to yours. Your obedience may be the very answer to someone else's prayer. Do you see how holy this is? How weighty? How beautiful? This is what obedience unlocks. A ripple of redemption moving outward, touching lives you may never meet, carrying grace into places you may never see. So again I ask, what waits on the other side of your yes? Pause here, beloved. Let the Spirit show you. Picture the faces of those who may one day be set free because of your surrender. Picture the lives that may be healed, the doors that may open, the chains that may break. All because you whispered yes. This is why obedience matters. Not just for you, but for the story of redemption being written through you. But let us go even further still. For there is a secret hidden within obedience that few discover. It is this. Obedience is not only about doing what God says, it is about becoming one with His heart. The longer you walk in obedience, the more your desires begin to change. The more your will begins to align with His. Until one day, obedience no longer feels like sacrifice, but like joy. No longer like surrender, but like freedom. No longer like death, but like life. This is what David meant when he wrote, "I delight to do your will, O my God. Your law is within my heart." Obedience became his delight, his joy, his song. And this, beloved, is the highest gift obedience unlocks. Union, oneness with the heart of God. Not just obeying His commands, but sharing His desires. Not just following His voice, but resonating with it. Not just walking behind Him, but walking in Him, and He in you. This is the mystery Jesus prayed in His final hours. Father, that they may be one, just as you are in me, and I am in you. This is the destiny obedience leads to: oneness, the merging of your will with His, the union of your heart with His, until there is no longer resistance but harmony, no longer fear but love, no longer striving but rest. Beloved, do you see? Now obedience is not punishment, it is invitation, not a burden but a blessing, not the end of freedom but the beginning of it. And now, as we come to the close of this long and gentle journey, I leave you with this. Your yes matters. Your obedience matters. Not just for you, but for eternity. So I ask you once more, tenderly, prayerfully, what waits on the other side of your yes? Perhaps it is peace. Perhaps it is purpose. Perhaps it is joy. Perhaps it is union with the God who made you. Whatever it is good. For the one who calls you is faithful, and He will never fail. And so, beloved soul, may your heart find the courage to surrender. May your spirit find the strength to obey, and may your life unlock the treasures God has prepared, both now and forever. Amen. Peace be with you. And if these words have brought you comfort, I invite you again. Leave a comment below so that others may be encouraged by your testimony. Subscribe to this channel so that you may continue walking with me in these quiet, sacred conversations, and share this message with someone who needs hope, who longs for peace, who hungers for restoration. For perhaps, through your sharing, another soul will find the strength to whisper their yes. Go now in peace, beloved. And remember always, the Anointed One says, this is what obedience unlocks.